Hello everyone, my name is Chiedeze, and in today's video I want to do a follow-up of my previous video that I made talking about the proposed endeavor and why the proposed endeavor is an important part of the EB2 NIW. Now, if you've not seen that video, I'll put a link in the description box so that you go check it out, because in what I described in that video, I made an argument that the proposed endeavor has to have substantial merit, and in addition to that, it has to be of national importance to the United States. The proposed endeavor is not about you, it's about what you bring to the table to the United States and how it will substantially benefit the country in terms of economic benefit. Will it be able to create jobs for Americans? Will it be able to, bring people out of poverty or help in terms of alleviate societal welfare or economic, advance the national interest of the United States? And it is on that angle I'm making this video, using someone that I wrote for that is in non-STEM, to give you an idea of why you should be careful when you're playing around with the proposed endeavor. And in this video, I'll be using this person that I'm talking about, and I'm going to, for the sake of this video, I'm going to call him James, right? And James came to me through the person who designed my website from my business. So James contacted me and brought an already written petition for me to review. And when I saw the petition, I told him this petition is crap. I have to rewrite it again. I cannot review it because there is nothing in it that I could work with. And I was quite convincing to James because the person who recommended him to me, like I said, was the person who designed my website, and that person was James' church member, right? So James had confidence in their church member that the church member would not recommend him to me as someone who would want to swindle him of his money. And he came to me as someone, I'm competent in what I do, and I've done this, and I know how to reason an argument out in a manner that it will, get the person to stay legally and permanently in the United States. So when I look at the petition, which I'm going to be reading some part of it to you so that you understand how bad it was before I started working with it and what I started doing. For context, James only had a bachelor's degree at the time he came to me, with more than 15 years of experience in Nigeria. And his bachelor's degree was in public administration from a university in Nigeria. And you could imagine there is nothing, someone with a bachelor's in public administration is not doing any scientific research that will say, okay, he has been working in a lab, doing mixing one or two chemicals that will help cure cancer or COVID. No. Now, James has been someone who was in a protocol and travel management and side of career in his life. That was what he has done for more than 10 years, working with a reputable university in Nigeria. Now, let me break down this protocol, because when he came to me and was like explaining, oh, I'm a senior protocol administrator with XYZ University in Nigeria, I couldn't understand it, because I understand what protocol means. When you go to church, there are the guys who try to direct you to where to sit down and where to go. But in my mind, what he explained to me, I understood it as a glorified usher for the university he was working at in Nigeria. So what do I mean? That if the VC wants to go somewhere, he's the driver of the VC, right? If the VC is expecting a visitor, he goes to the airport, picks that visitor, brings that visitor to the VC's office, or directs the other employees where to go, what to do, and who to drive on a particular day. So that was basically what this person was doing. Keep in mind that he has a bachelor in public administration. So there is no potential something that I could convert to work and to get this guy a successful application. So let me go ahead and read to you what they had in the initial petition. It says, my work significantly addresses matters of national interest and aligns perfectly with government initiatives to enhance international relations and diplomacy. I have actively fostered both national and international relations. Notably, I play a crucial role in successfully preparing and defending the protocol and general services department's budget at this university in Nigeria, securing a budget of $50,000 for the 2016 fiscal year. This achievement led to an impressive 45% enhancement in financial management and accountability, serving as a testament to my budgetary expertise. Now, he went on to say, my contribution extends beyond borders, encompassing community development initiative at Life Point Church. This is a church he was attending in Tennessee. These endeavors have significantly impacted the community, reducing homelessness, engaging individuals in psychological fitness programs to enhance moral standards, and providing entrepreneurship training for those in need. These initiatives invariably promote social and self-awareness development. My involvement in this initiative takes the form of volunteer services, including donations, training, and promotion of moral uprightness. Now, this was what he had throughout in the petition, and I wasn't, to me, it was crappy, and I have to rewrite a new one. So, what we started doing at that time was to come up with a proposed endeavor before I take on the case. And we had to brainstorm, okay, you've been doing some kind of driving for the vice chancellor, you've been driving people around. So that means you have some kind of a lot of driving experience that could be converted to something that the United States need. So what kind of proposed endeavor can we propose? So we brainstormed and said, okay, why don't you come up with an executive cab businesses, right? That will be driving the high and mighty special cab for the celebrities and other stuff. That it's something that you register a business. So you're going to write a business proposal, and you're going to, as time goes on, your company will employ Americans who are going to be riding other fleets of your vehicles, and you are going to be generating income for Americans. And that was the idea we had. Then I started writing the petition. And now keep in mind, I'm focusing on the proposed endeavor part of this James's work, right? And I started writing the petition. And along the line, I felt that the idea of this executive cap was not making sense enough. So I said, okay, why don't you, in addition to the executive cap, come up with a non-emergency transportation service business? Now, if you are in the United States and you understand how the United States work, there is the non-emergency medical transportation business, like the ambulance, but not like the ambulance kind of ambulance. Now, if you have an injury in the United States, an ambulance will come at the speed of light, right? But the non-emergency medical transportation service, like the name implied, is non-emergency. They are used to transport people, the elderly guys, the seniors, and people who have an appointment who don't readily have cars, right? And these kind of services operate mostly in rural areas where where the hospitals or the clinic is mostly far away, because the way America is built, most clinics in rural areas are not readily close to or are readily accessible to the population of people who live in that county or what have you. So that was the idea. So we combine the executive cab business with the NEMT, that is the non-emergency medical transportation business. So I began writing the petition, and I finished packaging the petition, sent it in. They gave us RFE, and we got RFEs on the 3 prongs. Now, I'm open to you so that you understand that it was not successful at the end. And keep in mind, this person only has a bachelor's degree in public administration. And like I mentioned before, they were mostly doing administrative work, driving the VCs around. So there is not much that they have accomplished in terms of something that could be translated as benefits to the United States, or something that makes them well positioned to advance their proposed endeavor. It was in the line of writing, collecting document for the RFA, that we realized that he has a similar business in Nigeria registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission, but the business never kicked off. So there is evidence of certificate registration, but there is no financial um, um, there is no financial gain with the business that was registered. So, but we used that, packaged it in. But I want to tell you one of the things that was requested in the RFE. And this is what I've tried to explain for people who are using business proposal, business plans to write their EB2 NIW petition. Because if you are using a business plan, you should be able to demonstrate that you have potential investors, or you have people who are willing to invest in that your business, or show that you have some kind of angel funds, coming in from Americans or similar customers who will be willing to partake in that services that you are providing. And that was part of the things that USCIS was requesting in the RFE. And we had to rally around, look for people who were interested in that NEMT business, and we focus mostly on the NEMT, that is a non-emergency medical transportation business, because like I said, that part of the petition had more to do with national importance, and something that will create jobs for Americans. And not only creating jobs for Americans, is going to help seniors and people who had an appointment not to miss jobs. And we targeted mostly for people working, people living in the rural areas, and making the argument that it is going to help them, have a better life, because if they could not miss their appointment, they will go on to live healthy life, and healthy population equals to people who can contribute to the economy. But I will tell you that USCIS were not having it. So we had contacts with what is it called now? I'm trying to remember the name. Senior living facilities, and we got letters from two of them saying that they are willing to engage our services, that is James Services, if he were to launch the business. Now keep in mind, at that time, James had not even started any of that business in the United States. That business had not been in operation, nothing. It's just articles of registration that were done, and which were turned in at the initial petition. So James went ahead, secured two letters from people who own home care services and senior living, and they wrote that most of the people who live in these senior living facilities make use of these non-emergency services because they use it to go for an appointment. And if James were to launch his services, they'll be willing to patronize James, that is bringing businesses to James. And it was a solid argument we had in these letters of recommendation. We submitted it to USCIS with other documents that we had. Now, I want to state the fact that one of the things that James has achieved was being the president of the transportation company, the transportation cooperative in these local universities in Nigeria. And not only was he the transportation president, they helped, people by providing funds to buy the tricycle that we have in Nigeria, what we call keke napep. And it was on this basis that we launched. It was on this basis we built upon, saying that, hey, he has done similar stuff in Nigeria, therefore he is well positioned to advance his proposed endeavor. And James have also done some courses related to non-emergency, handling people with, now let me look it up so I don't give you a wrong information. Like I was saying, that James was also a member of professional organization with the likes of Protocols Officers Association, Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, and also American Society for Public Administration. These are membership of professional organization that James belonged to. Now, I also want you to keep in mind that we were filing this petition under the extraordinary ability route because James, as at this time, only had a bachelor's degree with more than 10 years of working experience. Now, we also included, like I mentioned, that James had some certification to show that he's well positioned to advance his proposed endeavor. And some of them include passenger assistance safety and sensitivity. Now, it was an online training organized by the Community Transportation Association of Nigeria. And he also had completed this course and supporting individuals with disabilities during emergency situations and building relationships and community for people with IDD offered by Relias. So these are the courses that they have. But I want to go ahead and mention something before I forget, that James had purchased the Route Genie software solution in the course of we writing this petition. And the Route Genie software solution was designed for non-emergency medical transportation providers, helping them to improve scheduling, billing, routing, and dispatching processes. He also went ahead to buy the insurance that the insurance that protects the vehicle that people use to do this non-emergency medical transportation business. In addition to this, right, James went ahead, met with a dealer who gave him kind of a bill of the estimate to convert his present vehicle to a modified version for this non-emergency medical transportation services. So all these things were the things that were put together to demonstrate that James was well positioned to advance their proposed endeavor, and their proposed endeavor is of national interest to the United States. So we submitted the RFE, but it was denied on the 2 prongs. And I looked at it, I felt disappointed because I had high hopes for that petition. And James was more, hyper looking at the things that were put in the RFE, with the hopes that it's going to get approval. And at that time, we submitted this petition in December of 2023, and the priority date was getting closer. And if you have been following the visa bulletin and the fiscal year, you understand that we are running almost like a 2 years backlog in the EB2 NIW visa bulletin and date of filing and change and the final action date. So I looked at the denial letter and I said to myself, no, this is ridiculous. That this guy could have easily approved it, but I think I know what was missing in the initial petition, because one of the things they made mention in the denial letter, they argued that it is only James' customers and clients that will potentially benefit from the business, that Americans are not likely to benefit. Keep in mind, we showed articles from government website, especially the state of Florida, showing that they have reduced expenditure, with seniors and getting them to the appointment with the use of non-emergency medical transportation business that they have been using and contracting. And that was the basis of our argument that it's going to help America and the government save money, and it's going to increase the health, population of the health outcome of Americans. So now it was denied, right? And at that time, James got his master's degree from a Nigerian university. So we put the whole package together. I only added a paragraph showing that American businesses are going to benefit from this proposed endeavor if it's launched in the United States. Keep in mind, like I mentioned, that that business, as at the time we're writing this petition, has not even started in America. We have not even done one single bit. We only had articles of registration. We had letters showing that Americans are willing to invest in the business and that we have where we are going to get clients, given the fact that someone who owns a home care facility and senior living facility will be bringing clients for us, right? So I had to come up with ideas that, okay, if we start this business, if James starts this business, this non-emergency medical transportation business, who is going to be benefiting from the business and how? So I figured out something that, okay, James is going to be buying gas, right? If he's going to be buying gas, it means that the gas station is going to be making money from his business. And also thought, okay, he already paid for the insurance, right? So imagine that he pays $200 every month for the insurance of his vehicle. $200 multiplied by 12. Imagine how much the insurance company will be making from James's business just for insurance only. So that is another way that American businesses is going to be making money from the existence of James's business in the United States. And I also thought, okay, the route genie, $50 every month, right? In scheduling and dispatching and making sure that people get the vehicle gets there on time. That is another way that the software company is going to be making money from the existence of James's business. Now, what if the vehicle breaks down? Who is going to repair it? Now, the mechanic. If the mechanic is going to be repairing it, the mechanic is going to also make money from James's business. Now, in addition to what we added in the new petition, we shifted the location of that business from the urban area that we had before to a rural area. So we changed the location of business in the business plan to a rural area, and I got enough evidence that this rural area has the need for non-emergency medical transportation because of the distance of the nearest clinic or hospital facility from where the town is located. So we sent it in and the petition was approved. Now, James also got his master's in public administration. So it was in the same line of public administration. There was nothing STEM in this petition. It was purely based on business plan and how the business will potentially benefit the United States. Now, in terms of the prong three, we also made argument that since he's coming to the United States to create a business, that the business will create jobs for Americans in the sense that we are going to expand and they are going to need more drivers to drive this non-emergency medical transportation business. And that is how we sent in the petition, and it was approved without RFE. We did premium processing. And I will tell you that James was happy when he got that approval. And that approval came on the last day of the 45th business day. And it was amazing. I couldn't just, shout in joy because James at that time doesn't even have publication, doesn't even have nothing to show that they have done research. It was purely based on the certification they have done in the non-emergency medical transportation line of business, the things they have done previously, like helping people secure loan for tricycle, which we call keke napep in Nigeria, and driving the VCs around. And before I forget, we got a letter from a former VC that James drove them around and they offered professional services as if it was a business that they were offering. And that was it. That is a success story that I just told you about James, who used a business plan to secure their EB2 NIW. I want to hear from you. Have you used a business plan to write your EB2 NIW? Was it successful? Leave me comments in the comment section below so that we'll hear from you, and your story might be able to help our community members to know how to tackle their RFE and use business plan to get an approval. If you think you've gained value from this video, I want you to go ahead, give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, as this helps my channel. I will see you in my next video. Peace.